How you guys doing today? This is Derek House with dhftns.com, and today, as you can see, we are going to make a 90-second whey protein cake. Now it takes about 5 minutes to make in total, 90 seconds to cook, so let's get to it. First things first, get 2 bowls out, one to mix your ingredients into, and then another one that we're going to spray down with some non-stick cooking spray and microwave, so make sure it's microwavable safe. Now the first ingredient we're going to add is 1.5 scoops of whey protein powder. As for the flavor of protein for this recipe, I suggest using chocolate because that's the only one I've used and liked. However, if you don't have chocolate on hand, you could experiment with other flavors. Just make sure they taste good. Personally, I suggest using whey. I've tried using casein and egg protein, and that didn't come out as good as it does with whey. 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. 1 tablespoon of dark cocoa powder. So if you're not using chocolate flavored whey, you might not want to add this and just go ahead and add more protein in. If you're using natural flavored protein, you might want to throw more cocoa powder in. Around 1 packet of sweetener. So any pancake or waffle mix will work with this. As long as the box says just add water, you're going to be fine. As you can see, I'm using Hungry Jack. That's the only one I could find at the store at the time. That's why I chose that one. As for how much we're putting in, it's around 55 grams or a little over 1 serving. As far as the serving size goes, it says 1/3 of a cup is 1 serving. So if you don't have a scale, put 1/3 of a cup in and then go ahead and fill that 1/3 of a cup, maybe 1/4 of the way full, and put that in. So all you need to make this is some water and a fork to mix it together. So now we're going to start with around 2 ounces of water. Now after you put about 2 ounces of water in, just mix it all together until all the chunks are gone. So after about 30 seconds, as you can see, it's pretty thick. I like to mix the first part of this recipe with a fork so it takes away all the chunks. Now take out your fork and we're going to mix the rest of it with a spoon. Go ahead and add 1 more ounce of water to the recipe. We want it to be liquidy but not too liquidy so it doesn't come out too dry once we microwave it. So now just go ahead and mix the other ounce of water into the recipe. As you can see, it's not too soupy like, but it is pretty liquidy. Go ahead and get your microwavable safe bowl or dish, whatever you're using, and spray it with some non-stick cooking spray. And just take your mix and pour it into the microwavable safe dish. Now we're just going to go ahead and take our mix and put it into the microwave. Now I microwave it for 90 seconds. You don't want to overdo this or it'll come out too dry. So I say somewhere between 90 and 110 seconds for this recipe. You'll be able to see once it starts to cook. And there is your cake. Now if you cooked it right, you should be able to just turn it over and it'll come out just like that. As you can see, it's a pretty good size. Now personally, I like to add some peanut butter to the top of it because without the peanut butter, this recipe only has around 3 grams of fat into it. So I add around a tablespoon of peanut butter to the top. So you don't have to add the peanut butter if you don't want the extra fats. However, I do like to top it with some fat-free Cool Whip as well. Just around 3 servings, nothing too major. And finally, half a serving of chocolate chips, which is only around 30 calories. And there is your 90-second whey protein cake. Now, in keeping with tradition, I'm going to go ahead and try it on camera now. Absolutely delicious. Now, when I say that, in a past life, at some point, I was a connoisseur of cake. Now, you would not be able to tell the difference between a store-bought unhealthy cake compared to this, as long as your protein tastes good. This is amazing. Now, as you see here, you could top it with some sugar-free chocolate syrup or some whipped cream. I didn't have to do that. As is absolutely delicious. As for the calories in this recipe, without the chocolate chips or peanut butter, just the Cool Whip, you're looking at 378 calories for the whole thing, only 3 grams of fat, 56 grams of carbs with 5 grams of dietary fiber, and 32 grams of protein. So if I have chocolate all over my face, I'm sorry, I just wolfed that cake down. However, I do want to suggest, as always, using healthy and fit protein. I posted a link to their website in the description below. It tastes amazing. As you can see from my recipe videos, it cooks amazing as well. There's no artificial sweeteners or colors in it either, so that's always a plus. If you use that as a base and then whatever you add onto it, you can just tack on the calories later on. So what I mean by that is if you put peanut butter on it, just go ahead and add the serving size to peanut butter to the recipe. As for a few tips in this recipe, just go ahead and top it with whatever you want. If you don't want to use peanut butter or Cool Whip, don't. Use whipped cream or jelly, whatever you can think of, you can put on top of it and it'll taste even better. I do want to thank you guys for watching. If you liked my video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. It motivates me to keep making these videos. On my new ending screen coming up, 2 of my other recipe videos are right there, so if you're still hungry, go and make those. My subscribe button is now up there. If you're not a subscriber, by clicking that button and subscribing, you'll get an email every week telling you I uploaded a new video, usually on a Wednesday or Thursday. Alright guys, I gotta get back to eating. Stay healthy.